And so just based on the bones, just based on their physiques, when you're looking at Mr. Mike and Mr. Hussein, if you had to pick one as being a fake natty, let's assume one is natural and one is not. Who are you picking? Which body, which physique looks more unnatural? Coach Greg, in today's video, two of the best lifetime natties of all time training chest together. Mr. Mike, no, not that Mike, Mr. Delicious himself, Mike Thurston, who claims lifetime natural, who of course he isn't, along with Hussein Farhat, who many believe also is a fake natty. I don't believe that to be true, and you know I'm going to give it to you straight, of which I don't think Mr. Mike actually is, and I'm talking about both Mr. Mikes. Hey, I said it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just two lifetime naturals. Mike's shirt is so tight if he sneezes, he'll break a rib. In saying that Hussein is natty and close to your size in like 3 years, Maginex. Well, frankly, it's 4, but the difference with Hussein is it's mostly from here to here. Hussein Farhat's upper body, it's stupendous. However, his legs are not up to the same caliber as Mr. Mike. Is it just me, or does this Mr. Mike look like he just finished a workout? Look at him just standing there drinking a coffee with the arms with the bicep vein. And so do you know how you get that? From being not natural, using performance-enhancing drugs, it's going to extend your pump for that much longer as well. This actually is natural, and it's using Cialis. If you use Cialis before you go to the gym and you just carry a heavy object. So, for example, Mr. Mike's phone with all the DMs from so many people, it's going to be heavier than last time, and he's going to get a little bit of a pump from just doing this. If you're not on Cialis, most likely you're not looking like this if you're natural. If you are natural and you use Cialis, well, if you have amazing genetics, you might look half as good as this, which to me is plenty. And so if you're interested in Cialis and clomiphene, testosterone, which probably could help you to look half as good as these guys, Algo RX, code Greg, 10% off. Remember, they can give you your blood work. They can do the things. It's pharmaceutical. And so if you're interested, click the link. Seriously, guys, look at the size of Thurston's arms, the vascularity. That is not a natural arm. You can debate me till you're blue in the face, but Thurston, he does not look natural in the slightest in comparison. At least Hussein, it looks like he needs to get a pump first. Notice he's got the pump cover on. He doesn't show up to the gym looking jacked. Now, unless Thurston does a bunch of push-ups in secret before he even gets to the gym, perhaps he trains at home before getting to the gym. I don't know, but this, it doesn't look natural.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
We can keep track of everything that's inside. Yeah.
We haven't even started to work yet.
How are you already important?
That's the way it is.
Exactly. Even Hussein notices. How are you already pumped? It's just the way it is. Well, imagine he's responded, well, 10 milligrams of Cialis along with a bunch of peptides, and I actually did a bunch of push-ups before I met you, and so that is my secret. Imagine if he said that.
Every single set, I go to failure.
And so Hussein, he trains a lot more like Coach Greg. You show up to the gym, there's no tracking involved, you do what you want, and you train to failure. You train harder than last time. If you outwork other people, you put in the work, you train hard, you're going to get better development than almost anyone. You give me two identical twins, one follows an exact program, perfect based on science, but doesn't train hard enough. The other person, they don't do all the best exercise, they don't track anything, but they train hard. Person who trains hard, they're making more gains.
Is that how you train?
That's how I used to train, yeah. And then I started to get old. And I was like, fuck, I can't handle this amount of volume. Stress.
Mr. Thurston, he's trying to explain why he doesn't do as much volume, why he doesn't train as hard as he once did. He's saying he got old. It's not that he got old, it's that he's already built up his muscles. Once the muscles have been built, perhaps you're using testosterone or peptides or SARMs, or you've been going to the gym for 15 years and you've already put on a lot of muscle. And if all you want to do is to maintain it, you only need to do 1/3 as much as you used to. And so what does that mean? Well, if you used to do 6 hard sets of chest, you now only have to do 2. And so it's a lot easier to keep the muscle once you've built it than it is to build it in the first place. And many of you, you know this. You know that muscle memory is a real thing, muscle nuclei, the whole thing. You know that once you've built said muscle, even if you take time off, if you've been sick or if you've been injured and you go back to the gym, the gains that you once had, they come back faster than ever before. And so Mike, he doesn't want to go to the gym for 2 hours each and every day. He wants to get in and get out. He wants to keep a pump. He wants to look good for the ladies, the men. I don't care. And so he does the minimum to get the most. And I see nothing wrong with that. Case in point myself. I lift weights 2 days a week. I do a full body workout twice a week or perhaps twice every 8 days, and that's all I need. I don't need to have more muscle. I have plenty. Remember, I already built that muscle, and to keep what I have, it's a lot easier.
I don't have all the time in the world just to like lie down and rest. Like I have like loads of other things going on.
Now, frankly speaking, he does have all the time in the world. It's Mr. Mike. I mean, is he going to try to convince us that he has a 9-to-5 job or he's working 100 hours a week? He has no time to go to the gym. Mr. Mike has it easy. He's kind of like Coach Greg. I can train whenever I want. I can travel, I can train. And so when he says, you know, I'm too busy to go to the gym, stop making excuses. I mean, of all the people in the world, Mr. Mike, if he wanted to train 2 or 3 hours each and every day, if he wanted to become a cyclist, he could actually do it. And I'm not talking about cycling steroids. I'm talking about riding a bike. If he wanted to be elite level at bike riding and rode his bike 14 to 20 hours a week, he absolutely could do it. He has plenty of time. Stop making excuses.
3 years ago, you told me like you were giving tips on how to like build a business and build like a personal brand and be successful on YouTube. And one thing that you mentioned is like, stay away from controversy.
I would give the opposite, lean into it. How does it work for, I don't know, Togi? Or, for example, Clavicular? Would any of you even know these guys if they weren't controversial? Togi bragging about abusing performance-enhancing drugs, rubbing in our faces, and Clavicular being Clavicular. Why do you think we're even mentioning these people's names? Because of the controversy.
I didn't want it to get to that extent, but when you're friends with Greg, it kind of just happened. Well, we were going. I got like 200 million views that month.
How's it working for him? Well, he's literally in Dubai working out with you. And so it's clearly been highly effective. You might be thinking, oh, but people think he's a fake natty. Yeah, they think he's a fake natty, despite the fact that he is 100% natural. And so why not talk about it? Just stay away from it. Delete everyone's comment. You're a fake natty. Delete. Is it not better to tell people to their faces, you're a loser because your genetics and work ethic is worse than mine? I'm better than you. They're then going to get their panties in a knot and think, oh, I hate you. You're a fake natty. You're a liar. And so the controversy, it keeps going. Hussein Farhat is one of the most famous, what people say is a fake natty in the world. One of the most famous in the world. And so is it actually working for him? Or is it not?
I've watched people like Simeon Panda, Matt Fitness, where they would document the process of trying to prove that they're natural.
Yeah.
And still people are like, no, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Mike, he brings up a great point. Even if you try to prove that you're natural, people still aren't going to believe you. We've seen that with Hussein. He's posted his blood work 4 times. He's done a lie detector test and he's passed every single time, yet people still say he's fake natty. Mike Thurston, on the other hand, where's the blood work? And so Mr. Delicious Mike, he says there's no point in trying to prove that you're natural because people aren't going to believe you anyway. This is true, but if you don't try to prove it, they're going to believe you even less. And so, hey, do what you want to do. If you really do want to prove that you're natural, you have to get your blood work taken when you're looking really good with no notice whatsoever. And it can't be a drug test. It needs to be blood work because the blood work is going to tell the story. And then if you want to send your blood work to myself, remember, it has to be done with no notice. If I go through your blood work, I'm going to see if you're natural. Now, it doesn't prove that you're a lifetime natural, but if you're at your all-time best right now, and someone says, yeah, but you used to take steroids, how are you better now than when you used to take steroids? We've seen Connor Sinan, we've seen him, we've seen how much muscle he lost. That is what literally happens in the real world when you go off steroids. And so if you take steroids and you stop, you're going to lose muscle. And so if Mike wants to prove he's natural, he just has to look as good as he did when he was in Ibiza with the red shorts. You know what I'm referring to, Mr. Mike. And get your blood work and send it to Coach Greg. And I'm not talking about just your testosterone, I'm talking about everything.
I think a lot of people do underestimate what the human body is capable of naturally. I feel like there is a lot of crazy physiques out there that are just, they're genetic freaks.
And remember, Mike, who wants you to believe that he's natural, he believes himself that Simian Panda is natural, despite the fact that Simian Panda hasn't shown the blood work, the full blood work, to show all the other variables. And so why would you believe him? Would you believe me if I said, hey, I'm natural now, I'm not an HRT? Why would you believe it? But if I then posted my blood work and you saw my LH and FSH in the normal range, my testosterone was normal, you'd be thinking, well, maybe Coach Greg went off HRT. But without the blood work, you gotta call cap.
I'm the biggest weight-wise, probably 190 something.
What's 9 kilos?
87.
And so Hussein, he weighs in at 187 pounds. Mike Thurston, he's closer to 210, about 20 pounds bigger than Hussein. Hussein is about an inch, perhaps an inch and a half taller than Mike, but weighs 20 pounds less than him and isn't as lean as him. Y'all realize that Hussein is not nearly as big as Mr. Mike. I mean, you can say whatever you want. You can blame it on not having a proper tan, but Mike Thurston is actually massive, and if you don't believe it, I worked out with him. Remember, I'm an IFBB pro, and yet he still had more muscle than me. And so just based on the bones, just based on their physiques, when you're looking at Mr. Mike and Mr. Hussein, if you had to pick one as being a fake natty, let's assume one is natural and one is not. Who are you picking? Which body, which physique looks more unnatural?
It's almost better if you gradually start building up your income over time instead of going from like 0 to everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
now, guys, I know it's not a financial channel, but I do like to coach you up a little bit. As far as money is concerned, you only need a little bit. When you go from, say, $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year in terms of your income, it's night and day. It's a huge change. But to go from $100,000 to $200,000, it's not really that big of a deal. To go from 100 to 1 million, there's less of a difference than going from 50 to 100. When you're buying cars, the car either works or it doesn't. If you get a $50,000 car and jump to a $500,000 one, it's not that big of a deal. It's not really worth it per se, unless you're making so much money that it doesn't matter. Once you have money, you have money. To go and buy a $5 million car when you already have a $0.5 million car, there's almost no difference. It's like a 10% jump for 10 times the money. And so be thankful that you don't need to be a multimillionaire to be happy. You do need to work, you do need to study, you do need to get a job, but by making 10 or perhaps 100 times more money than you do right now, it's not going to make that much difference.
Would you recommend me to move?
Yeah. If I was you, I would definitely go to like where all the action and the potential is for just elevating yourself even further.
Yeah.
If I'm advising Hussein on where he should live, he needs to avoid Miami. There's nothing good in Miami for someone like Hussein, somebody who's religious, who's not partying harder than last time. This is not the place you want to be. Never mind the taxes. When you live in Canada, you're essentially giving 50+% of your money to the government right away, and then there's taxes on top of that. In comparison, Dubai, the taxes are almost the lowest in the world. And so if he had to pick a place to live, it's clearly better for him to be in Dubai. Sorry, United States, that is the truth.
Have you competed before? Yeah.
Yeah, when I was 23 and 24. Have you competed?
I've done, I did one show. Greg coached me for it.
And so remember, he entered a bodybuilding competition that was drug tested. The only problem is they never tested anybody. Let me remind you, just because you enter a drug-tested bodybuilding competition doesn't mean that people are going to think that you're natural. Doesn't mean that everybody is in fact natural. But if you do enter a drug-tested show, it would be kind of nice for them to actually do some drug testing so they don't have problems like this. And remember, for the show, Hussein actually had a proper tan. And so when you're comparing his physique to Mr. Mike, maybe, just maybe, if he had a proper tan, he would be making Mike look bad. And so clearly you could see now that Hussein has gotten a pump, his physique is catching up to Mr. Mike. He's standing in the background of the side laterals, and you can see visibly the chest, it's getting bigger, the arms, the vascularity. This is a true story. When I go and meet people in person who have never seen me, they've been a fan for years, oftentimes what they say is, you're way bigger in person. And I'm thinking, Why do they all think that I'm small? I feel I look fairly big on camera, but one thing I do not do, that I never do, is a bunch of push-ups, bicep curls, side laterals before recording. Many people think that, oh, I care so much about how I look. I mean, I do, but not so much that I'm gonna like do a fake thing, like pump myself up to look better for the camera. I don't do this. I show up and I record. And so oftentimes people see me, I'm in the gym and I'm working out and have a full pump. And so of course I'm going to look bigger.
I wouldn't say it's a case of, oh, I've been struggling to find the right person, because I've found a lot of very good candidates. So that's not a problem. It's just more so me waiting to pull the trigger.
Wow. I mean, is that not telling? Mr. Mike is like, look, it's not that I haven't found the right person. I've found a lot. He's talking about wives or husbands for marriage and so on. And so he's saying, you know, I just don't want to give up the freedom of not having kids. And so here's the thing. If you've met a lot of people, a lot of women, let's call it, let's assume that he's not gay. He's met a lot of females that would be a great wife. Well, where are they now? Like, just because you're not ready to have kids, you can't have a girlfriend? You can't be engaged? You can't have a wife? I mean, if you really love that person, they're amazing, they're perfect, why aren't you with them? It's not that he hasn't found the right person. He's found a lot. Great candidates. It's that he feels selfish, that he doesn't want to be a dad right now. He doesn't want to have a family, and he's not ready to settle down. Well, you don't need to have a kid just because you can. Like, you're allowed to just stay with that person and say, hey, I'm in love with you. You're a great person. I would love to spend the rest of my life with you. And let's just not have kids right now. I see nothing wrong with that.
I've had a very good experience with women. Here, if you're a guy, you can't complain about being with someone or dating someone when there's literally been red flags everywhere.
He's right and he's wrong. Here's the thing. Look at this guy. Are you looking? Mr. Delicious himself. How many girls do you think want to go with a good-looking, fit, multimillionaire? In comparison, how many men are good-looking, rich, famous, multimillionaires? There's not a lot. And so most men, they take what they can get. Mr. Mike, he gets whatever he wants. And so he has his pick of the litter, so to speak. And so he's saying he dates excellent women. He doesn't have to pay them. They're great girls. And technically, for that, I believe him. I believe he can date a really good girl. Other men, when they experience these women, they realize, I can't get the girl that I want. And so when I settle for this girl, she's not good. And so if you want to get girls like Mike, well, grow a little bit taller, get a proper tan, have the proper hair transplant if you do, in fact, lose your hair. If you don't have an amazing physique, you know, do like Mr. Mike claims and be 100% natural. Now, if you're 100% natural, you can, of course, take Turk Platinum. You can take Turk Builder Max. You can get Blue Lobstered. And if that doesn't work, you can go to Algor-X and say, maybe I have low levels of testosterone. Maybe you need HRT. Maybe you need some enclomiphene. Perhaps you need peptides. Ask Mike if he's ever used peptides and see what he says. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm just going to tell you, I don't believe that Mike has never used peptides. I believe he's used peptides. I don't know if he's used testosterone before. I don't know to the extent of it. I don't believe he's lifetime natural, but I believe he's using something. Even the Cialis alone, along with the proper tan, it does go a long way. He clearly has gifted genetics. I'm not saying he's on trend. I don't believe he's ever used that. But I believe there's some periods in his life where he's used certain things more than others.
So it's usually like it's the men's fault looking in the right places and not being tempted by, you know, the seductive vibes that some of these women are giving off.
Yeah, like think of it. I mean, Larry Wheels in a similar situation to Mr. Mike, although not quite as attractive. He is in fact taller and has a lot of money. But yet, what if you go for a girl who doesn't choose you back? You know, somebody who perhaps wants to be with Rampage Jackson, you know? And so if you're a man and you're simping for women and they're not infatuated with you, they don't choose you, you got to be careful. And besides all that, you know, you do what you got to do. You know, I'm just trying to give you advice, but this advice, you do have to take it. If you do get married, you sign a prenup. I don't care what you want to tell me. I don't care about any of that shit. A prenup is a must. You can date whatever gold digger that you want. She's hot. She's worth it. Hey, by all means, if she's making you happy, who am I to judge? But sign a prenup. And if she says no, there's the door. You found out exactly what you needed. She's only after you for her money. If she makes you sign that prenup, a prenup of which puts you at a 30% greater chance of staying married, then she's literally trying to find the back door. And I'm not talking about your back door. You don't want to get pegged.
Yeah, especially like the way you find them, where you find them. Yeah. It's really important. They find a girl at the club. They're expecting to get married, you know. So at some point.
And so exactly, if you're meeting somebody in the club, well, she's a club girl. What do you expect? I mean, I'm not saying that there's no good girls at the club, but the chances of meeting one there, they're very slim to none. And so how do you in fact meet them? Well, it is in fact very hard. My best advice would be to try to find them doing the things that you like to do. So if you're a bike rider or you like going to the gym, perhaps meet them on that club bicycle ride or meet them at the gym. That would be ideal. If you like reading books, meet them at the library. If you like singing, at some kind of place where people sing. If you can do that and you share similar interests and they're out in the real world and you're not actually intoxicated while you're getting to know them, that would be ideal. And to the girls, if you guys would only wake up and stop being idiots, do like Mepsigram and write your dream man. My name is such and such. I saw you here and there, and I would like to go out with you. What is wrong with that? Women think that men have to make the first move, but yet 85% of men are not going to make the first move. And so if you want to increase your chances of meeting your dream man, start going after what you want. Start liking their photos. Stop making it look like the men have to approach you.
I know if I can send a DM and that's all it takes to be able to, you know, do whatever with someone, it's probably not someone you want to be with.
I don't send DMs.
Mike actually agrees with me here. He's like, you have to go out there and do things where you're going to meet girls in person. Sending DMs and stuff, it works amazingly well if you look like Mike. I mean, let's be honest. But the average guy who doesn't have 1 million followers and isn't 6'2" is not going to work for them.
The way I see it is if there's a hot girl, she's got a couple 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
You send a DM, you're one of hundreds, if not thousands of guys who are basically going like...
Yeah, but you're Mike Thurston.
And also, please realize that all the girls with the thought photos, you know, the half-naked photos and stuff where they're advertising for you, if you send them a DM, you're competing against hundreds. Every guy is doing the same thing. Copy paste. And so girls, you're looking for validation, but all you're doing is getting men who are copy pasting you're hot and sending it to 100 women, hoping that one will write back. And so what you're doing is you're picking the guy that has the most money. You're going on the yacht parties and so on. And the men are only using you for your body, for your looks. They don't really care. And so you're both using each other. One is using them for money. The other person is using them for looks. Nothing good is going to come out of this.
Got narrow waist as well, which is good.
Yeah, it helps with like when I pose.
He's got like guys, he's got literal stick legs. That's why he's wearing the bag.
He's not lying.
And so Mike's calling him out. He's like, why do you think he's wearing pants? His legs aren't up to the caliber of muscle, although they're better than most guys. It's just compared to the supreme development of the shoulders, the chest, the arms, they're not at that level. And so why Hussein looks so incredible and has so many fake natty accusations is because the majority of muscles are here. They're in the tank top, the show muscles, the beach bod muscles. With that small of a waist and muscles all here, he just looks like a fake natty. He isn't, but he looks it. I mean, clearly, visibly, he doesn't look natural. Now, if you took all of those muscles, let's call it 20 of those pounds, and you spread it out evenly over his body, you added 10 pounds in his legs, perhaps you widened his waist a little bit, everyone would say natural. They would say clearly he just works out hard, but because of his genetics, making the waist look so small and having smaller legs and all the muscle being in the exact places that you want as a man, that is why he gets so many fake daddy accusations. Hey, I'm just telling it like it is. You see how Mike's waist actually looks wide? It isn't. Mike's waist is small. The difference is Hussein's waist is minuscule. It's invisible almost. It doesn't exist. And so that is why he looks so crazy. It's not because he has so much muscle that it doesn't make any sense. It's because his proportions are out of this world. Even next to a specimen like Mr. Delicious himself, you can see how small the waist is. And so, of course, Turk Platinum, Turk Builder Max, all the supplements, you can use creatine, you can use GLP Max to help reduce your cravings. You can use G-Test Platinum. All the products, don't forget about the Cico bars, code CICO for 50% off. And there's the money back guarantee with the $50 gift card. And so please try out the supplements if you're interested in becoming an athlete, part of HCLT Supplements. Click the link and apply. If you want to carry the supplements, sell them in stores or gyms, the link. If you want to be coached by myself and my team, the link, click it as well. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like and subscribe. Watch those 2 bloops, at least one of them. And until next time, I am out.